Hey, Facebook. This is a personal situation where sometimes in life you can watch your friends, and when you don't hear from them for days, you worry about them, and then you find that they've been in bed for days on end. Then when you do hear from them, they bring bad news to say life has been taken. Again, somebody has taken their life. I won't promote the method on here. So, taking their life to suicide. So, for me, when you're replying back, do you write condolences or do you say to that person, rise up? Because at the end of the day, when somebody is receiving bad news like that somebody's took their life, the person receiving it can slip into depression themselves, right? So what do you do for your friends? You have to tell them, embrace the life. I started writing to them to say, this is another angel that is now gone, another whisper in my ear, another I've got to shout louder in raising awareness. So I started to write, shout from the rooftops that life is important. So here I stood on a rooftop to say that your life is so valuable. If somebody has taken their life, right, what are you going to do about yours? Are you going down to waste your life away in depression and misery? Or are you going to celebrate the life that you've got, and the 2 feet and the 2 hands and shoes on your feet, etc.? Are you going to celebrate that at least you have some control, that you are still here to enjoy the happiness? It's sad when people are losing their friends around them, not just to suicide, but to regular death, and even, I'm not actually going to mention, the particular ways people die at the end of the day, where it's sad. It's nature, isn't it? It's common process of life and death. Some people take their life, and it's a waste of life. But is it because it was meant to happen? Or could it have been prevented? It can be prevented, but people don't have the right tools to communicate, or the right lifeline, or where to show, or there's so much shame within what they're feeling, they've got nowhere to turn. Earlier, I spoke back to one of my relatives, and I said to them, I understand why people turn away and no longer communicate with each other, because if you're complaining about a loved one to somebody else, then you can complain once, but if you don't change the situation, then you'll end up complaining again, and the people say, I told you so. So eventually people don't want to tell anybody what's going on with themselves, especially if it involves somebody else. If it involves somebody else, why somebody is feeling so miserable and so down, it's probably because sometimes when you approach somebody, they want to take matters into their own hands to protect you, and actually you want to protect them. You just wanted to talk. You didn't need the intervention where someone's going to take over control of what you're feeling. You just needed to figure out a way out. The other day someone said to me, I'm going to go and do this, and I'm not going to promote the method, but they mentioned, suicide looks good to me. When I heard those words, I said to them, actually, have you ever tried that? And they said, no. So I said, well, I have, and many other people try to stop that thought process. They try to stop it every day. And when they hear somebody say, life's not worth living, well, I disagree. If I look at your situation, what is it about your situation that can be rectified? I spoke to, I'm not being funny or nothing, but I spoke to somebody high up who was feeling really, really depressed. And I thought, wow, you've got the skills and the knowledge to get yourself out of this situation. Why aren't you using it? Because they forget themselves. When you're in the midst of a storm, they forget what their capabilities are. They forget. They're so wrapped up in depression, they forget that they do actually hold the answers to getting out of that situation. Now, a simple situation was an infestation. Can be resolved. but it made the person so miserable they no longer wanted to be in that home. Well, there are means and ways to getting that situation resolved, and it wouldn't have been worth taking your life over that. So taking your life over things like environmental or your housing situation or over neighbours from hell, it is not worth taking your life over them, or even down a breakdown of a relationship. I know that can feel like the end of the world, because stability is what people need, and when things are changed or a situation is different or someone is different, it makes you question yourself. What's wrong? How can I put it right? And when people can't put things right, they feel it's the end of the world. But it isn't. But it can feel like that if you're alone and unsupported. You know, you have to support those around you. Even if you're in the midst of your storm, there's still somebody still waiting to connect with you, to talk to you. But if you shut it all down, then equally, we all suffer. Checking up on your friends, checking up on your family. When last did you call them? When last did you have a conversation? When last did you have a date? You know, I only asked my son the other day, fancy a date with your mum? He said, a date? I said, yeah, that's right, a date. A date with me to get to know me without the word mum. You know, so the date is going to be planned. Life is so important to teach back that, and we've got to plant good memories into each other. I remember the day I walked around here, and they're going to tell stories back to their youngers about the things they did with the mums and dads. You don't want them to be horrific stories, because when I talk about my life, I don't really talk about the positives in my life, in my childhood life. I talk to you about the negatives in that childhood life, so you can overcome, or so you can educate yourselves through it. Because at the end of the day, sexual abuse and child abuse is just not something which is a good thing to live with. At that memory, so you've got to make new memories to replace all the past baggage. You have to make new memories and come away from all you've ever known. You know, you have to. Keep getting drawn back into the same situation, the same place. I've come back again to this dreary old hometown where I was born, and I look at it and I look around. Everything has changed. The people have changed. There's no manners. There's no, nobody wants to talk. There's too many stabbings going around, and and are you safe in your environment? When you hear all negativity in your environment, you want to get out of it. So for me, sometimes change is good, but change is difficult. We understand that. But if you've got breath in your body, you've lost loved ones, stop wasting that breath and do something with your life and appreciate it, for you can never get the time back. Give thanks that you're shouting at the rooftops. Give thanks that you're alive. Hold somebody else up. When you see them down, hold them up. For when you are down, if no one is around, then you will sink. You've got to help each other stay afloat. Hold them up, plan, and make sure you keep planning. When there's a plan, there's a way and there's a will. But when there's no plan on the table and no structure, then it becomes just a part of the, when am I going to get watered again then? You've got to think of yourself as a plant. Plants will not sustain without that water. They won't. They will wilt. They will perish. And some even die. And if they're not fed, it's just like you. You do not feed yourself and water yourself and put yourself in fresh air environment, and you leave no room for growth. There's a big world out there, and if you don't like the environment you're in, then go and explore somewhere else. But in your head, make those plans of what you're going to do. Make life an adventure. Do things, come out your comfort zone, do things you've never done before. And if you've never shared my post before, please do share my post. My name is Kerry Mussington, only here to raise awareness. Suicide prevention is what I'm trying to do. I want to bring the community together to understand that we've got to stop wasting life and look out for each other. Can suicide be prevented? Absolutely, 100%. You can help contribute towards someone's life and their growth and show them the way. If you're already there and they're not, that means you knew the way to get there. Help them. Many a times I've knocked on someone's door and say, "Hi, can you help me with this piece of paper, please?" They'll say, "Oh, I don't know how to do it." Well, that couldn't be possibly true because you're already there. So you already had the tools and you're equipped because you made it. So somebody showed you the way. So did you forget that you actually have those knowledge, those tools to give back? If you've made it in life and you know how to make money, you know how to move forward, you know how to help people in advocacy, you've got your skills, give it back. Some things are just priceless. You don't have to put a price on someone's life. So just give it back. Give back your knowledge. That's all you can do. And that knowledge comes free. It doesn't come with a price tag. Some people do that, but they forget if somebody's in the midst of a storm. That's like, when, here's a classic example. You know when people had issues or something like that and they kept saying, you need a solicitor. I'm like, God, I'll just free up the information. And then you had to learn it yourself. But some people already have been through the journey of where you've been and know a way forward and how to overcome some of the obstacles that may be in your way. And that's what I'm saying. Free up the knowledge to people. Help them back up. If you see them falling, tell them about their behavior. If their behavior is slipping, because equally it affects you. If your friend is slipping in depression, then they're taking you down with it. They're not going to do anything to correct it. Then they're going to sink you down with them. So therefore, at the end of the day, rather than being dragged down with them, you have to say, listen, you're going to have to put in 50-50 effort here to help me sustain you and you sustain me. You need to put in some effort. But if you're going to keep sinking, someone's going to be standing upright and somebody's going to let go of someone's hand if the situation doesn't change. The way to change up the situation to someone's depression is keep talking to them. And you keep talking, keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. Someone will show you the way. Okay. Well, Kerry, now that's a mind over matter, right? Mom's the way.